Hi, welcome to We Why Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We're talking about Real Housewives of Potomac. They are back. Season 9, Episode 1, a crash course in deflection. I can't say that.
Crash course in
Deflection.
deflection. There you go.
It starts out with a reenactment of Karen's accident on March
I didn't
19th.
like that they did a reenactment.
I did not either. They could
I
have
think
just...
that was terrible.
It was terrible. And on Watch What Happens Live, I don't know if you saw Karen.
I didn't watch it yet.
Yeah, so she says, like, it was because she watched it for the first time before she was on Watch What Happens Live. And Andy said it must have been hard for you to watch. And she goes, it was hard. She goes, it was very realistic, except for the deer. There was no deer.
They made it like the deer's what made it happen.
Exactly. Which is really...
Oh, come on.
Mhm.
That's what I mean. And that's what I wrote down. Like, why are they doing a reenactment? They weren't there. They don't know what happened.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, and it's not like the police are going to hand over any discovery or evidence to Bravo so they can do a reenactment for the show. Like, they're not going to do that.
Right. They could have just put up the words on this date, she was arrested. That's it.
Right.
And put up what the charges were. That's it.
I'll tell you what, God forbid somebody else got hurt during that. They wouldn't have done a reenactment.
No. And the
You would
reenactment they
hope
did,
not, at least.
it was wrong. I mean, why would they put deer in there?
Yeah, especially if deer were, I mean, they literally made it seem like the deer were the,
Cause of the accident.
of her reeling off the road.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I thought, okay, all right, yeah, the deer.
Yeah. Listen, the wedding we just went to, our nephew Christian, his mom, they all lived down in like Tuckerton area, Little Lake Harbor. And we were leaving her barbecue one day and it was still bright outside. It was summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric hadn't been drinking because he was driving, and a deer ran out in the front of our car, and Eric tried to stop in time, didn't, just hit the deer slightly. The deer kept running and there was nothing wrong with the car. But right after that happened, another deer ran right in front of us. It's like startling, and you do have to slam on your brakes. And if you are going a decent speed, you will reel off.
Yeah.
Drunk or not.
Yeah. No, I know. It's crazy. First of all, I think it was, like you said, like we didn't need the reenactment. And then to give us an inaccurate reenactment?
This information?
Yeah, so if you didn't watch What Happens Live, like you didn't, you would have thought that the deer caused it, which changes the whole story.
Absolutely it does.
So after we saw the horrible reenactment, we see 1 month later, filming starts, and Gizelle is on the phone with Ashley, and she's on her way over to Karen's house to pick her up because Karen hasn't been out of the house for a month. So she picks her up, and they're going for a ride, and as they're going for a ride, they see a deer.
That's what I mean. They're doubling down on the deer.
Exactly.
They're doubling down on their inaccuracy. Bravo, do better.
I know. And then we find out that I didn't realize it was Karen's second deal.
I didn't either. I did not either.
So,
but it's not like she was trying to hide that because apparently, they flashed back and she admitted on camera in a prior season. So, but that didn't click with me.
No, and I will let you know, too, that she did say on Watch What Happens Live, obviously she can't talk about it because it's still in the courts. It has not been settled yet. But she is saying that we will find out, like, the truth. She's expecting to be exonerated. But I do know that every guilty person says that. But
every housewife says it.
Every
housewife says, I can't wait to be vindicated and everybody to see the truth.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, it does not happen.
I know. So we'll see. We'll wait and see what happens.
Maybe it'll be the 10 out of 10.
Listen, I would like for her to be the 1 out of 10 that is vindicated, right? Let's hope for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they go to breakfast, and Gizelle says she wants to make sure she's okay, and she's known Karen for a long time, and they were friends, and I really think it's because she's lost Robin and she needs somebody who's going to be her friend. So
100%. But I do love them together when they get. I do love Karen and Gizelle when they get along, and I like Gizelle much better when she and Karen are getting along.
I do too.
Yeah.
And she does go on to try and ask Karen questions when she saw all the citations.
Karen looked very bothered by that.
Yeah. She did say that that's not the Karen that she knows, and that, Karen is saying that her emotional state is what led to the accident. She's alluding to her issues with Ray. And then she alludes to the, death of her parents that were like in 2019 or something. I don't know. It was years ago.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of things compounded, but doesn't Karen look very tiny? And I'm not in any way trying to judge the way
Mm-hmm.
she looks. I'm just saying it does look like maybe stress is getting to her.
It could be. It definitely
Yeah.
could be. And she tells her that she wants to plan the birthday lunch for her. Prior to that, the owner of the breakfast place comes over and Karen orders the Karen special because she goes there all the time. And then Gizelle gets the same thing. And then he feels the need to tell Gizelle that, Karen has never had a drink at his establishment. And Giselle's like, well, you don't serve alcohol, sir. And then he goes, I know that. And he points to another table where, it's a bring your own and people are drinking. And I agree with her. I think that that was a plant.
Very staged. Very, very staged.
So she's
So
talking.
we would expect nothing less from the Grand Dame.
No, we wouldn't. And you know what? We wouldn't expect anything less of the shade that Gizelle was giving too.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. So Karen says that she wants her friend Stacy to be invited and, that she's a host from QVC, ex-host from QVC.
Is she no housewife? Do we know? Is that like confirmed?
I don't know. I don't know that it's confirmed yet.
It seems like they're trying her out and I guess Vivian.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, right? That's what I got the impression of.
Yeah.
And then we see Mia and G and the kids, and they're getting ice cream, and she wants her children to have a good relationship with the father, and we said that, and he's now living in her building, which again can be a little bit awkward, but at least he's getting to see the kids every day, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for not wanting this guy to bring his kid for a haircut.
I don't either, but
I know
if it is
paternity again,
yeah, if it is his kid,
I think she should let this go, man. Don't do the paternity test.
Well, listen, I think that he's entitled to know.
I know.
I think he's entitled to know. Maybe I wouldn't.
For G though.
Maybe I wouldn't have done it on camera, but
like, where's this guy been for 11 years? This kid's 11 years old, and G's been taking care of him. So, like, where you been?
Well, she broke it off with him.
But if you really thought that was your kid, even though the wife breaks up, the girlfriend breaks up with you, who's married to somebody else, wouldn't you push for a paternity test back then? Why are you waiting until she's on TV now?
Well, I think it's because she at the reunion said that she knew it was G's because she was inseminated through IUI. So, that was her assumption. Like, maybe she was firm with that about him. Like, listen, no, this is, Gordon's baby. I was inseminated through IUI. Right. Now, having been inseminated myself through IUI, I do know how it works. And it could, if they were sleeping together at the time she was inseminated, it could very well be his.
Right. It could have just happened without her knowing.
Right.
So sticky, though.
It is. It really is. And then they were throwing a lot of shade around Ink about how short he is and how Mia's always trying to stand behind him to put
Those pictures were funny, though.
They were funny.
Whatever. He makes her happy.
Exactly. And then we see Ashley meets with her attorney, and that it's been 2 years since she's been separated, and now she's finally ready to go forward with the divorce, which I'm glad to hear.
I'm glad to hear it too, because I think a lot of people thought that she wasn't really divorcing Michael, and it was just that he didn't want to be on the show anymore because of all the allegations against him. So this leads me to believe that, I never cared if that's what her gig was, but This leads me to believe that that's not the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she pretty much tells her attorney that, the attorney says we can get mediation date and, move forward with this. And Ashley's like, the main thing she wants is custody. And that's good. I mean, I'm glad that that's what she's, sticking with, because that's what she should be concerned about is the kids. And obviously they're his children. He obviously has money, and he's not going to not take care of his children.
Right. And let them, like what she said, I want them in their house. So I don't know if that means like she'll leave and Michael could, like, they have the nesting.
Right. Or
where whoever the caretaking parent is stays at the house with them.
I think, though, she wants primary custody, and I think she wants to keep the house. because the house is in the LLC, remember?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And he's paying the mortgage. So I think she wants that LLC turned over to her. That's what I got out of that.
Yeah.
Then we see Wendy is unpacking boxes of stuff from her work office because she's going to finally resign as a professor.
The Happy Eddie dispensary must have really took off.
Yes, it must have. He had his shirt on, Eddie. He was repping his company.
I love that guy. He's one of my favorite house husbands.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him too. I like him too.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that, once she sent the email on camera, I don't know that was real, but whatever. She wanted us to think it was.
Well, don't you think you would send your letter of resignation via email before you packed up your office and took all your stuff home?
Yes, I do. That's 100% what I was thinking.
Anybody a little curious as to why you were walking out with all of your
stuff? Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what I thought.
The sequence of events was backwards.
Yep. And then she's still fearful of what her mom will do when she hears what she did. And we knew that because she tried to bring it up to her 2 seasons ago.
Yeah. Her mom's a strong-headed woman.
Yep. So then we see Karen go shopping at her friend Vivian's store, and their mutual friend Stacy meets them there. And Stacy's the one who used to be the host on QVC.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 of them have been friends for quite some time. And they all met through Karen. Then Karen notices that Stacy is not wearing her ring, and she calls her out on it.
Yeah.
And Stacy says that she's been separated for over a year.
Which makes sense because in the beginning, I'm like, why do they keep blurring out her husband's face? Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
Every time they showed a picture of her with her daughter and her husband, his face was blurred out. I thought, oh, maybe he just doesn't want to be on camera. But remember, Gina's husband wasn't on camera their whole first season,
right?
Like before they even mentioned separation. But
right
now we know why his face was blurred out.
There you go. And that they'd been married for 16 years, which is a long time.
It is a long time. And I wonder what happened. I wonder if we'll ever find out. Because she doesn't really say, right?
She doesn't say, but I think maybe we might find out. I guess we'll have to kind of wait and see. And then Stacy realizes that they're the 2 of them, her and Vivian, are drinking champagne. And she's like, oh no, like we shouldn't be doing this in front of you. And Karen's like, no, it's fine. And then Gizelle gets ready for Karen's party. It's the Hatitude.
Mm-hmm.
And she bought hats for all the ladies, and she brought her shady hats there too, being, shady Gizelle. Yep.
Messy Jizzy.
Yep. She brings up that her and Wendy are not in the best place, but she did invite her. And that since her father passed away suddenly 5 months ago, that she kind of has a new lease on life, that she's, letting things go, which I can understand. I mean, if that's really, why she's letting it go, I get that,
I think it's a combination of both things that you just said. The one thing about her dad, because of course that will always put things in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And also that she doesn't have Robin here. So she needs to, Ashley can't be her only alliance.
Right.
Because them 2 together, they do not execute the plan. NECA was a major fail. And they planned that whole thing.
Yeah. No, NECA was not. No, that was not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. So they cannot execute a fan.
Right. And then we see Mia's friend Jacqueline there. And I was surprised to see her there because I didn't realize that they were back together.
Okay. So Jacqueline's the one that she grew up with.
Yes.
Right. And then they fell out.
Yes.
Yeah. So we didn't even know that they were back on good terms.
No. That's why I was surprised to see her there. And at first I thought she was there like to be shady. I thought that they weren't on good terms and all of a sudden she's there.
Yes, I agree. I thought the same thing. But then at the end, when Mia needed her, she got right up and ran after her. So
yes. And then we meet Jassy. And she was an international flight attendant, and now she's settling down because of her man. And they ask her, what does he do?
What does he do for a living?
Well, he's
on the Super Bowl. Yeah,
so he's in the NFL on the Chiefs. Darius Harris. And of course, they're like, oh my God, did you meet? Well, actually, it was Wendy said that. Did you meet Taylor Swift? And she's like, yes. Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, who cares if she met Taylor Swift? Jesus, Lord Almighty.
Yeah.
I did just read that they're engaged,
Oh.
Jassy and Darius.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Taylor Swift.
Oh, no, please. If we got engaged, I think we'd all know it by now.
I
We'd
think so
probably
too.
have flags at half point or something.
And I don't think he would do it in the middle of the football season.
Probably not.
So that's good. I'm glad that they're engaged. Good for them. I think they're a cute
Yeah.
couple. I think they're
Yeah,
a
they
cute
are.
couple. It's interesting to me, though, that he's on the Chiefs and they're settling down in Potomac.
Potomac, I thought the same thing.
Like, how does that happen? But supposedly she is friends with Mia, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if she really is friends with Mia. I don't know. I guess we'll find out maybe.
Yeah, we'll see the dynamic. I mean, she's not a housewife, is she? She's just a friend of?
I don't know. She might. I don't know. Like they may be trying her out too. To be honest with you.
It's probably like the 3 they brought on Jersey, and they're just kind of feeling it out. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, an NFL husband
Mm,
would be, a good draw, right?
for sure.
So then Karen's a little bit late to the party because it's her party and she should arrive when she wants to, fashionably
Yeah.
late.
Yeah, of course.
And Giselle said, has anyone even spoken to Karen? And Jacqueline's like, well, she talked to her on the phone. And then Mia says, well, you said she was drunk when she called you. And Jacqueline seemed like I didn't expect you to say that.
Yeah, she did. She did.
And
then she kind of backpedaled a little bit and was like, well, she could have been a little tipsy.
right, exactly. And then we find out from Wendy that many years ago, her and Stacy sat on the same board. So she's crossed paths with her, but, they don't really know each other.
Right.
Then Karen shows up and Gizelle says she had these hats made by a designer for them, which I was surprised about that.
Me too.
And all the hats have different
Look
names.
like they could have came off of Amazon.
They do, because they all looked very similar,
Yeah.
right? All the hats have different names, and the names are based on what woman is going to get the hat. So, of course, the first hat is going to Karen, and it's called the Hollywood. And Karen is happy to have the Hollywood. And I don't know why she said this about it was her opportunity to find out who my real friends are. And I don't want any fake bitches around me. Like, I don't know where that came from, like out of the blue.
She probably heard some stuff on the streets that people were talking about her.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
Probably, I mean, that's what I would think. But why were they like, and now you have to answer questions? No, she doesn't. It's her birthday lunch.
Right.
She doesn't have to answer any of your questions.
Well, that was Giselle.
Yeah.
And even Giselle, when she made up the drink menu, she had the drinks, the Surrey County something, and then the other, and then the
61.
The 61, and then the non-alcoholic Grand Dame.
Right.
And Karen's like, I'll have an iced tea.
Right.
She didn't order any of her drinks. Again, that's Giselle being shady.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next hat is the cowgirl hat, and that goes to Ashley because she took all the girls to Texas.
I love when Gizelle was like, and she had so many cowgirl outfits.
Right.
And then they keep flashing to her outfits. I'm like, didn't look like a cowgirl outfit. Didn't look like a cowgirl outfit. But we're in Texas, so she did her best.
Yeah, exactly.
She did better than I would have, that's for sure.
So then Ashley and Giselle are making an announcement about their company, G&A. And
Wendy is so funny.
Yeah. I know.
She's like, G&A, what are we fusing?
G&A
There's nothing
fusion.
to fuse. The stuff on the runway wasn't even on their website. And by the way, they had a runway show for their stuff.
Don't you remember? It was like right when Giselle's father was sick and Ashley had to put it all together.
Oh, that's right.
And the big fight that happened there.
Oh, gosh, that's when that happened.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, so we don't really know what the G&A fusion is, right?
We don't.
We'll have to wait and see. To be determined.
They did show on the website, like there were hats and maybe like a hoodie or something. Like, I mean, if they're doing athletic wear, athleisure wear, then that's the route you want to go. Yoga pants, leggings.
Right. Well, that's
hoodie.
what they were doing already. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why when they flashed to a runway show, I'm like, what is that? But I forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah. The next hat is called the King, and that one is perfect for Mia. And then they start talking about Mia's new boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, because we didn't get past this hat.
No, we really didn't get past this hat. And how Karen feels the need to tell Mia that she's worried about G, and Gizelle jumps in on that bandwagon too. And they put her on blast. And honestly, I don't think that was their place to do that.
It wasn't. And listen, whatever they said about G, I felt bad for G too, but when Gizelle said you didn't protect your children, you don't say that to a mother. You don't say that to a mother.
No, you do not.
Unless they are, listen, you don't ever say that to a mother. If there is a mother that is, blatantly negligent and you feel the need to say something, okay, but she's not. She's not.
No.
And she's taking care of her kids, and that was wrong of Gizelle.
Right.
And she should have apologized right then and there once she realized. And I'm so happy Wendy spoke up and said, listen, that's crossing the line.
Yeah. No, that was not their place to mention. And that's when Jacqueline speaks up and she's like, listen, I've met Ink. He's a great guy and she thinks he's very good for Mia. And that this is what I thought was odd, that Gordon and Mia's relationship was more like a business relationship. And Mia was married for 11 years. But again, they don't know what the relationship was. And they were separated for a year before she got back with Ink. And Gordon was mean to her. He was abusive to her. And he's admitted that.
Right.
Because
he did say he wasn't nice. He was,
He said it last season and he said it again this season. I mean, he was diagnosed with bipolar. She's helping him out. Ink is helping him out. They don't have to be doing this. She wants this to work for her family.
Yeah.
And for them to come at her like that, specifically Karen and Gizelle, it was not right. It was not right.
I totally agree.
It was not right.
Agree. So she got up, and who followed her? I know Jacqueline followed her. Did her other friend Jassy?
Jacqueline and Vivian and Stacy followed her. And Wendy's still back at the table saying that we shouldn't be attacking her as a mother. All of us here are mothers. And I think she's probably going to come back to the table. But listen, it was wrong on so many levels. Someone also said, when she said Ink, one of them said, and I don't know which one of them said, has Jacqueline tried him out yet?
Yeah, somebody said that. I forget who.
I don't know who said that either. Again, throwing shade.
Stacy was like, "Oh, damn."
Yes.
Like, just walk in.
Exactly. She's like, "Oh, is this what they do here?"
Welcome to Housewives, Stacy. You should have tuned in.
Right. And that's when Mia said the only one that knows what was going on through this whole time is Jacqueline, because Jacqueline is her friend, and they, they've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm glad that, she had her back. And when they showed the scenes of like what's coming up for the season, it looks like a lot of drama, which is really what we expect from the Housewives.
Yes. As long as it doesn't get, downright dirty and nasty and, legal threats.
And leave the kids out of it, please.
Leave the kids out of it. No, don't be threatening anybody. I'll tell you what, though, this episode went by so quick, and that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, oh, wow. Like, because I'm watching it on my DVR, so I'm fast forwarding through the commercials. And then you see how much time's left. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, that's it? That's all I got left? Like, it went by quick, and I love that. What I told you, and those Mormon Wives episodes, sometimes I feel like they're 3 hours long. I'm like, when is this over?
Yeah.
And OC's not as bad. But this flew by. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is good Housewives content.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Emotional Support Water Bottle. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish. We're two besties who don't leave the house without their water bottles.
Every week, we're bringing you conversations about pop culture news, relatable real-life topics, and our random thoughts about the world today.
We cover things like Bravo TV recaps, breaking celebrity scandals, and Hollywood updates, and dig deeper on topics relating to navigating our 30s, dating and relationships, and keeping our work, social lives balanced.
So grab your water bottles and look out for new episodes every Friday.
It was good too because it was kind of straightforward. They weren't going back and forth, with the exception of the stupid beginning where they did the reenactment.
You're right.
And I don't like that when they do that, go back and forth.
You're right. They didn't do that.
Right.
A couple of flashbacks, like when Karen was talking about her first DUI.
Right.
Just a couple, but
Right.
not bad at all. They weren't going from this conversation with Karen and Gizelle to this conversation with Ashley and Wendy and back and forth. OC's been doing that a lot.
Yes.
Like as if these conversations are happening simultaneously, and we all know they're not.
I wonder if it's the production companies.
Yeah.
I wonder.
So
I don't know who Potomac's production company is. We'll have to check it out and see.
Oh, they all have different production companies?
They do. That's
interesting.
It is interesting. Because I know Atlanta's. What was Atlanta's? It was something. I can't remember. One of them, I think Beverly Hills and OC might be Shed Media. Yeah, Atlanta's was different. I know that they do have different production companies.
Yeah.
So that could be how they do it. We'll have to look and see like which shows have which production companies and do a comparison. Maybe we'll do that on our next episode.
Yeah.
And see what we think about that.
Yeah.
So I did want to mention, I'm done with Potomac for now. Are you anything else?
Oh,
Potomac?
Yeah. No, good.
That they did film the OC's reunion on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out that some footage has been leaked by the glam of one of the cast members, which
So stupid.
it is so stupid. These should be closed sets, first of all. They should be closed sets.
Yeah, I mean, and these housewives bring you on because they obviously trust you.
Mm-hmm.
So you go and do something like that, like it was Emily's, you said, right? Emily's glam.
It was either
allegedly
Emily's or Gina's, one of the two.
Okay, one of them. But now you're putting those housewives in a bad spot
Yes, you are.
because they certainly didn't tell you to do that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and you're never going to be invited back now. So then really, why would you do it? Like, this is a cash cow for you.
Right.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It makes no sense to me.
No, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Mm-hmm. So I am looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to OC being over because, like we said, we're a little sick of it. And now
It's you know why? Because it's all about Shannon and Alexis and John.
Mhm.
And like we said last week, like a little bit of the Tamara and Ryan thing. It's played out, the Alexis and Shannon's ex
that's right.
thing. We're over it.
Yes,
and
we
I
are.
really, did you see Tamara came out? I don't know. I'm in the middle of her podcast with Margaret. I didn't realize that they were recapping Housewives.
Yes.
I guess Salt Lake City and New York.
Mm-hmm.
And but Tamara's I don't know where Tamara said it, but she hopes that Alexis gets a full-time spot next season. I'm thinking you better hope you still got your full-time spot next season.
I will tell you all the comments on our social media posts.
I know.
All of them are anti-Tamara. She's not coming back. Tamrat. I mean, there is not one pro-Tamara comment on our post.
I have
not one.
seen one.
And
I really haven't seen one.
that's not normal. Seriously, there's always one that's a little bit more popular than the other, but to see so much against her, I'm very surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised because of the way she's acting.
I don't know why they brought her back, quite honestly. I'm like you. I never liked her. I thought she came in way too hot. I think she changed the whole trajectory of these shows. I think she started the nastiness and the bitterness and trying to stab Gretchen in the back. She had it out for Gretchen right away because Gretchen was younger and prettier and her fiance was loaded. And I think Tamara gunned for her from the beginning. She changed the show for the worse.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And let me just clarify, because we got a lot of heat. Well, I got a lot of heat for what I said about Teresa's cooking post on TikTok. I'm well aware, people, that Teresa has cookbooks and that she's been cooking for a long time. I've been watching Housewives since season 1 OC. But my point was that I had never, and I'm on TikTok often for the podcast. All three of us, Lori included,
Yes.
try to respond to people. We're all three of us are always checking our social media, and part of that's TikTok. I'm on TikTok often, and most of our reels that come up are Bravo based. I have never seen Teresa post a video of herself cooking on TikTok until after Melissa and Joe had posted a couple. That was my point. I know she cooks. Somebody said she has a cooking channel on YouTube. That could very well be true. I didn't know that. But my point was I had never seen her on TikTok before until Melissa and Joe posted a couple. And Caroline Manzo was on the Good Morning America cooking.
Yes.
So listen, I stand corrected if she's been on camera cooking recently.
On TikTok.
On TikTok. That was my point. It was on TikTok, and I had never seen it before. But listen, Teresa's got those loyal fans. They will, go down in flames for her.
She does have loyal fans. And the other one I saw that there was a lot of mixed emotion on is Caroline Manzo.
Yeah.
People either loved Caroline Manzo or they did not love her, because I don't like to use that other word. But there was no middle ground with Caroline Manzo either.
I think, and I've always been a Caroline fan. She reminds me of my mother, like that, we ride or die for our family mentality. But I think what happened, and honestly, it kind of brought her down a couple of notches for me too. I didn't realize that she had written the
letters,
character witness letter for her brother-in-law, and then he was found guilty.
Right.
I mean, I would like to believe that Caroline and Dolores, because I think she wrote one also, I would like to believe that they truly felt in their heart that he was innocent and are as shocked as everybody else that they were guilty.
Yeah, I would too. And I think I had mentioned it, that her sister-in-law, Jacqueline, was on a podcast and it was brought up, but it may have been all about the lies. So
yeah, that's it. That's the one.
And she said that she did not expect, she did not expect him to be found guilty.
Yeah, I would imagine that they're all pretty floored over that.
Yeah, I would too.
But nonetheless, I understand we're fans because, listen, we're Bravo fans. We ride hard for our favorites and our non-favorites,
Yes.
So I could see why people, if you're a Dina fan, you are very against Caroline right now.
You've been against Caroline for a long time, though.
Yeah.
If you were a Dina fan, because
but to find that out, like, that's, but again, we hope that Caroline truly thought in her heart that he was innocent, and that's why she did that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a shame, though, that they'll probably never get past this and never have their sister relationship back after that.
No, it is a shame.
If they ever were going to, anyway.
Yeah, no, it is sad.
Yeah.
I think anytime family breaks up, it's sad because family's family,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can go through your phases, not talking, but I don't know. It's something about this feels very final.
No, I agree with that. I do.
But honestly, I don't believe that about Teresa and Joe Gorga either. Like, I really think that, and I could get some shit for this too, and I'll take it, but I really think if Louis were out of the picture and she needed her brother and expressed that she needed her brother, he would be there for her. I don't know what that would do to his marriage with Melissa, because I could understand her not wanting that, but I think he would.
I agree with you 100% that he would be there for his sister if she needed him. He would, because that's who he is. And I also think that Melissa, knowing who her husband is, would be able
just
to
support him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, that's just, who you married.
Yeah.
You know who you married. She knows who he is. She wouldn't want him to be anybody else. And,
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody can make amends one day.
That would be nice.
It's too late.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. Until next time.
Bye.